Apple, 3 a.m.
If you've been a fan of JRPGs as long as we have here at Rotten Apple Gaming, you know that either turn-based or active time battle were the two predominant flavors to choose from. Sure, it looks simple at first, but there was some degree of strategy involved. Here's a list, in no particular order, of some games that really mixed up the formula in terms of combat. So first up, we have SaGa Frontier, and it's definitely one of the more oddball games on this list, and for good reason. For starters, there's your conventional hit points and the not so conventional life points. Lose your HP in a fight and you're dead until it's over. However, a dead character can still be hit for life points. If your main character loses all their life points, it's game over, so keep an eye on that. The actual combat is turn-based, where you input all your party's actions and each participant's speed judges who goes first. At the end of each turn, you get a heads up to see how everyone in your party is doing, so you can plan your next turn accordingly. Aside from HP and LP, God, that's so weird to say, you have points to consider for just about everything that MP would cover. Jutsu points or JP cover magic, and weapon points or WP cover fighting techniques. Why they didn't just mix the two is beyond me, but it sure gets weirder. Stats are increased seemingly at random after each battle, and techniques are unlocked sporadically as well. You use a weapon long enough and you'll attack with your fresh new tech. Where the game gets really crazy is that you can combine your techs with up to the entire party for an insane, over-the-top attack to really kick ass on the battlefield. Parasite Eve. Damn. This game was definitely a gem in 1998, and any game based in New York City that's done right always has a special place with us. At first glance, it really had that Resident Evil vibe going for it, but 20 minutes into the game and the combat changes that completely. Yeah, the combat is turn-based, but with the added caveat that most enemies can't hit you if you're far enough away from them or dodge their projectiles. That's about as much in common as Aya Brea has with Jill Valentine or Claire Redfield. Your attack range and accuracy are dictated by this wireframe dome that comes up, and you can shoot at anything within it. If an enemy is out of range, you can always get in closer to get them in your dome. Innuendo aside, how bad a shot is this NYPD detective that she can't shoot an oversized rat down a hallway? There's a variety of gun types to choose from, and you can customize them to have a bunch of effects like more shots per attack or added status effects. There's even nightsticks you can equip for melee attacks, but why get in close to an enemy when you can just, shoot them? All in all, the combat is good and definitely doesn't get repetitive if you don't have the attention span for a Final Fantasy title. Now this has to be my least favorite title on this list, and definitely a top contender for most unorthodox combat system in a JRPG. Now, I know I wasn't ranking these, but if I was, Chrono Cross would be the winner by a country mile. You start your battles with 7 stamina points, which you expend by using physical attacks. Each one stronger than the next, but less accurate because, balancing. Landing attacks earns you levels to use your spells on your element grid. You can combine physical attacks and spells if you like, but be warned that doing so will put your stamina in the negative, leaving you at the enemy's mercy until you have at least 1 point of stamina. Casting spells is another awkward part of the system. As I've said before, you can cast a spell on your element grid if you've racked up enough points by landing physical attacks. Once cast, that spell becomes unavailable for the remainder of the battle, so you'll have to use up multiple slots on your grid for a spell if you want to keep using it. I mean, what was wrong with MP? It worked fine in the prequel. To be even weirder, casting spells changes the field effect noted by the 3-tiered oval seen in the upper left corner. The more of the same color the grid is, the stronger your spells of the corresponding element become. And casting summons is only possible once all 3 tiers of the oval are the same color. Dual and triple techs make a comeback in Chrono Cross, but they're even more restrictive to use than magic. To pull off one of the 11 dual or triple techs in the game, your character must be in the grid level required to use the tech that is part of the combination. Once used, all characters involved will have 0 stamina and won't be able to use it again for the remainder of the fight. A high-risk move with little reward, because they're not that effective and they don't look that good. Overall, the combat system here is one that tried to reinvent the wheel and failed. It just sucks that it came tied to one of the better games of its generation. This one here is a personal favorite of mine on this list, and it should be one of yours too, damn it. I mean, who don't like robots? The combat system in Xenogears is twofold. You have your human characters and your gears. Giant, totally not Gundams that can do kung fu, or shoot guns, or whip you into submission. Aside from looking totally badass, the combat is quite intricate. You have triangle, square, and X to do a weak, strong, or fierce attack respectively. You can cancel your attack with circle and save up any points you didn't use, but we'll get to that in a second. Leveling up and trying out different button combinations unlock death blows, special attacks to really put the hurt on whatever's in front of you. Your ability to do death blows depends on how many button inputs you can use per turn, and that's determined by the bar on the left. Now remember the points that you didn't use? These go on the AP bar right under your ATB gauge. You can use AP to chain together death blows and absolutely destroy the poor soul that dared to cross your path. Gear battles work on the same principles as regular battles, but with a few twists. AP is replaced by fuel, which is now finite. The defend command is now charge, which restores fuel should you run low. The booster command gives your gear the haste status effect and stronger attacks, but with the downside of using up more fuel per turn, even if you decide to charge. Death blows also work differently, as you have to do normal attacks to raise your power level, and using up a death blow resets your power level to start the process over again. Not the most easy to follow battle system at first, but one you'll grow to absolutely love as you keep playing through an already awesome game. If you thought we were only doing old PS1 Square Enix games on here, we're not that one-dimensional. Radiant Historia very well lives up to the title of this video and delivers just as much. The grid system that battles take place on is nothing like your Mega Man battle networks. Your party can attack enemies the traditional way one at a time, but that won't get you very far, and you gotta ask yourself, where's the fun in that? You'll notice some of your attacks can push enemies around the grid, and this is a key element to winning battles. If you really want to fight dirty, try knocking enemies onto traps together and give them hell. Changing the order of your attacks is another strategy you can employ, but it comes at a cost. The vulnerable state happens when you change the order of your party's actions and is noted by a red hue on your character. In this condition, you are more prone to critical hits and debuffs, and it lasts until the afflicted character acts. Combos are done by attacking the same enemy consecutively, and each subsequent attack you land hits harder. An added bonus is given when you alternate magic and physical attacks, and yes, it counts towards all the enemies in the same grid position. Radiant Historia has one of the more difficult combat systems on this list based on my personal experience, but I'll be damned if it ain't fun. So that's it for our list on weirdo-ass battle systems in JRPGs. What did you think of our selections? Let us know in the comments below, and feel free to chime in on any RPGs you've played with any wacky and unconventional combat. Thank you all so much for watching.